Are you looking for the best soundbars? In this video, we will look at some of the 5 best soundbars on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Roku Streambar Pro Renewed. Wait, Roku makes soundbars? Yes. In fact, the company best known for its streaming sticks has crafted a winner in the Streambar Pro. It's affordable, expandable, and stocked with a secret weapon, Roku. In other words, this soundbar is also a streaming device, nearly on par with the Roku Ultra. Whether or not that's appealing depends on a few things. Are you currently using an old, slow Roku device you'd like to upgrade? Are you unhappy with the streaming software that's built into your TV? The Streambar Pro gives you the full Roku experience, effectively bypassing whatever you're using currently. That means you get not only 4K HDR Netflix, Hulu, and all the other channels, but also a souped-up remote with voice controls, a headphone jack, custom shortcut buttons, and a lost remote finder feature. The remote should be able to control your TV's power, volume, and mute settings as well. The Streambar Pro integrates nicely into your smart home setup, with support for Apple Siri, Amazon Alexa, and Google Assistant. Home Servant, turn on the TV and play the latest episode of Severance. It also works with Apple's AirPlay 2, which lets you mirror your Apple device to your TV, and HomeKit. There's even a screensaver mode, photo streams. You can populate with your own photos, effectively turning your TV into a giant digital photo frame. Setup is extremely easy, thanks in no small part to Roku's excellent Quick Start Guide. It's detailed and novice-friendly, although it doesn't really explain voice commands. You have to venture online to learn about that. All you do is connect the Streambar Pro to your TV, ideally via an HDMI eARC port, and walk through the on-screen setup steps. Then pause to enjoy a fun little demo at the end. Indeed, nice touches like these are part of why Roku is my preferred streaming environment. It continues to offer a friendly and uncluttered interface that's easy to navigate. However, in my tests, the Streambar sometimes stuttered and even locked up when playing content from Apple TV Plus and Netflix. No problems with any other streaming services. Just those two. Every so often, I find myself needing to reset the soundbar to overcome this issue. On its own, the Streambar Pro delivers really nice Dolby-powered audio with nifty spatial effects, like sound that seems to move in tandem with what's happening on screen. But it's definitely light on bass, unsurprising given the lack of a subwoofer. My advice: spring for the Roku wireless subwoofer, $180. And for the absolute best experience, tack on the Roku wireless speakers, $150, to use at the rear for a true 5.1 channel surround setup. Note that you can bundle one or both of these at the time of purchase and save a few bucks. With or without those add-ons, the soundbar offers a couple notable usability features. First, as mentioned above, the remote has a headphone jack for plugging in wired headphones, which is great for private listening. But the Streambar also offers direct private listening, which lets you pair your favorite Bluetooth headphones or earbuds. There's also auto speech clarity, which dynamically identifies dialogue and increases the volume relative to other audio. This works quite well, maybe not with the same punch as the Zvox AV355, see below, but I definitely noticed an improvement. For the record, I own not only the Streambar Pro, but also the subwoofer and satellites, and I absolutely love it. But if you're not into Roku TV, or don't want to change your existing streaming interface, look elsewhere. Number 2. Vizio V-Series V214X K6 2.1 Home Theater Soundbar. Vizio makes some of the top-rated soundbars in the biz, budget and fancy alike. The V-Series V214X K6 falls squarely in the former category, with the lowest price tag in the group. Despite that, it's a solid pick, offering bright, nicely balanced sound quality and perks like a dialogue mode and virtual surround. Just be prepared for a few setup and usability challenges. I was initially delighted by what I encountered upon opening the box. A QR code inviting me to scan for a full introduction to your product, followed by the name and email address of an actual person you can contact for help. Unfortunately, that code merely leads to Vizio promotional videos on YouTube. I couldn't find anything specific to set up. But then I looked at the Quick Start Guide, which also has a QR code, and, to its credit, large print and clear illustrations. Surely that would take me to detailed setup instructions? Nope. It opened Vizio's V214X K6 product information webpage in my mobile browser, again with no obvious access to setup instructions or a complete instruction manual. The latter lives online, but I had to search for it. The same is true, unfortunately, with a lot of the active soundbars here. Fortunately, setup was fairly easy. The V241X K6 doesn't have an HDMI port, so I connected the included optical cable to the soundbar and then to my TV. I plugged the soundbar into an AC outlet and did likewise with the wireless subwoofer. The latter automatically powered on and connected to the soundbar with no intervention from me. Easy peasy. I did have to manually disable the TV's built-in speakers and configure the TV remote to control the Vizio's power, volume, and mute. Whether you'll be able to do likewise depends on the age and capabilities of your TV, but the soundbar can also learn commands for most TV remotes. Speaking of which, Vizio's remote is logically organized with reasonably sized, clearly labeled buttons. However, the labels are printed on the actual buttons, meaning they'll almost certainly wear off over time. Without a printed instruction manual, it's challenging to understand the vertical line of tiny LEDs near the left edge of the soundbar. Volume is straightforward enough. As you raise or lower it, the line grows or shrinks accordingly. But toggling between various modes, like standard and virtual surround, causes either the whole bank of LEDs to light up or only some of them. It's not obvious when a particular mode is enabled or disabled. I frequently had to refer to the online manual for a reminder. It's a little easier with the input selector, which cycles through the 4 available options: optical, AUX, Bluetooth and USB, with an audio prompt and colored LED indicating which one is selected. I tested the Vizio with lots of different content and found it a vast improvement over the TV sound. It's perfect for smaller rooms, but may struggle a bit in larger ones. In my modestly sized basement, I had to crank the volume pretty high if I wanted a loud, theater-like experience. As noted above, the V241X K6 includes a virtual surround sound mode, DTS, Virtual X, and a dialogue boost mode. The former does indeed make the sound feel bigger overall, though the difference isn't earth-shattering. Similarly, I noticed only subtle differences between dialogue and movie modes. That's not too surprising given the size and price point of this setup. Even so, it's a solid, affordable soundbar, one I can easily recommend. Number 3. Zvox AccuVoice AV355 Dialogue Clarifying Soundbar. No surprise here. As we age, our hearing gets worse. Certain frequencies drop off, which is why it can be difficult to make out dialogue in movies and TV shows. Actually, there's more to that than just hearing loss, but either way, it's frustrating. Zvox's AccuVoice soundbars are utterly amazing at boosting dialogue, such that you'll no longer have to crank the volume to maximum, thereby sending others fleeing the room to hear what's being said. The AV355 in particular offers 12 distinct levels of voice boost, which is probably an overkill number, but it's hard to argue with the results. The soundbar itself is fairly compact, at just 24 inches wide, which makes it a better fit for medium/small rooms and TVs. It has something fairly rare in this group: a big, bright amber LCD that illuminates a numeric volume level, the selected audio input, and a few mode settings. I really appreciate that, as I can see at a glance exactly what I'm getting when I click the remote. Unfortunately, a few readings are confusing, like IN1D when selecting the optical input. It stands for Input 1 Digital, but good luck remembering that digital and optical are the same thing. Thankfully, the manual makes easy work of deciphering the display. Zvox deserves kudos for including a printed poster with reasonably sized print and clear illustrations. It's one of the best I've seen, with plain English instructions for just about every aspect of the soundbar's setup and operation. Speaking of setup, there's no separate subwoofer included, so you just need to connect the AV355 to your TV and you're done. Because it lacks an HDMI input, you'll want to use the included optical cable, though RCA and mini stereo connections are also available, helpful for older TVs. I had no trouble programming the Fire TV Omni series to control the soundbar, but the latter can also learn from most other TV remotes as well. I'm a fan of Zvox's large, flat remote, which has just a smattering of clearly labeled, very tactile buttons, another senior-friendly design choice. With it you can toggle between the AV355's 3 virtual surround settings and its 12 AccuVoice levels. Actually, there are 6 of the latter, but you can hold down the AccuVoice button for a few seconds to switch to SuperVoice mode, which also has 6 levels. As you cycle through either of these modes while watching TV, you'll notice that the dialogue keeps getting louder and clearer, while background sounds fall away. You'll have to experiment to find the setting you like best. SuperVoice is designed specifically for those who have hearing loss. Luckily, I'm not currently among them, so I can't say for certain how much it helps. But both AccuVoice and SuperVoice alike made noticeable improvements in the volume and clarity of speech. And the AV355 is a solid soundbar overall, albeit one that would benefit from a bass boosting subwoofer. I can't say I noticed much difference in the different surround sound modes, but those are overridden anyway when you engage AccuVoice. I do feel this is a little on the pricey side, especially compared with the less expensive likes of the Roku and Vizio models, which have more features. But you're paying for that special technology to boost voices. If that's your priority, there's arguably no better soundbar to choose. Number 4. Bose Smart Soundbar 600. It bears repeating. A soundbar equipped with Dolby Atmos will get you closer to a cinematic experience than one without, and the Bose 600 is one of the most affordable models to include that enviable capability. Its main rival, the second-gen Sonos Beam, costs $50 less, but I think the Bose soundbar is a step up. Whereas the former relies on audio processing to simulate Atmos audio, the latter includes actual up-firing speakers. Setup is fairly easy, but take note that it's entirely phone-based. In fact, the printed instructions found in the box offer little more than plug it into an outlet, then install the Bose app. This is fine for app-savvy users, and I had a trouble-free time walking through all the setup steps, but I do wish Bose had included some basic connectivity info in print form. As it stands, you'll have to venture online to find a full instruction manual. At least it's thorough and easy to follow. Speaking of connectivity, the 600 includes HDMI ARC and optical ports, with cords for each, and uses both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi for wireless features. Those include Apple AirPlay 2, Chromecast and Spotify Connect, along with voice features courtesy of Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant, though the latter requires a separate gadget with Google compatibility. The speaker is relatively compact, measuring just over 27 inches across. That size belies the power beneath the hood. Few soundbars of this size can fill a room so effectively. It's not the prettiest black slab I've seen, but the design is simple and unassuming. What I don't like are the barely visible LEDs used to indicate volume adjustment. When you make a change, a razor-thin light flickers briefly and that's it. There's nothing that shows the actual volume setting, no dots, bar, numbers or the like, nor even anything to indicate power status. I get that Bose wants this to seem cool and streamlined, but as a user I like to tell at a glance if something is on or off. Likewise, I want to know where the volume is set, even if it's an arbitrary representation. The Sonos Beam is similarly short on status indicators. At least the Bose 600 comes with a physical remote. It's not great, a little flat slab with some confusing unlabeled buttons. Good luck deciphering them without the aforementioned online manual, but it's still preferable to no remote at all. Although you'll probably end up using your TV clicker to control volume, at least you won't have to open the Bose app every time you want to switch modes. This may not be the most user-friendly soundbar in the group, but, wow, does it deliver. Whether you're watching Atmos-encoded content or not, you get the effect of sitting before a wall of sound. There's a fullness and balance here that's really remarkable for a speaker of this size. Dialogue seemed especially clear. I think the 600 fared a little better here than the Roku and Vizio models. However, while it produces a wonderfully wide field of sound overall, there's no surround to speak of, simulated or otherwise. And, unsurprisingly for a standalone soundbar, the 600 is light on bass. If you decide you want more oomph, you can add the Bose Bass Module 500, a wireless subwoofer. But it's $499, bringing your total investment to around $1,000. At that point, you'd be better off with something like the Polk Magnify Max AXSR below, which includes not only a subwoofer but also surround speakers, and for a lower total cost. So, the Bose Smart Soundbar 600 is for viewers who want a compact but powerful soundbar, one that can double as a music box and even group with other Bose speakers around the house, Sonos style. Usability could be a little better, but overall I really like this product. Number 5. Sonos Arc Premium Smart Soundbar. If Apple made a soundbar, it would be the Sonos Arc. From the luxurious packaging to the sleek design to the sky-high price, which, unfortunately, recently increased by $100, everything about this smacks of a premium product. And that's fine if you can afford it, because the Arc delivers truly amazing audio, thanks to some high-tech tricks. Available in white or black, it spans a whopping 45 inches. That wide frame accommodates 11 separate speakers, including 2 dedicated to Dolby Atmos. Setup is different. There's a small 3-step guide, yep, literally 3, in the box. Step 1 is power. Step 2, connecting to your TV's HDMI ARC port. The aptly named ARC offers no other connectivity options. Step 3 is all about the Sonos app. Install it and follow the instructions. And that's literally all the help you're going to get in print. Fortunately, the app available for Android and iOS makes the rest of it pretty easy. After the hassle of creating a Sonos account, another password to create and record, the app should automatically detect the Arc and walk you through a few setup steps. The coolest one, tapping your phone on the top of the Sonos speaker to share Wi-Fi and other info so you don't have to enter it manually. This is a good spot to mention that the Arc doesn't come with a remote. It's designed to work with the one that came with your TV. The Sonos app helps you choose and configure it. In the case of the Fire TV Omni series, I instead used the TV's audio settings to select the Sonos soundbar. Same end result, easy peasy. The app also does the heavy lifting with regard to accessing modes, such as speech enhancement, settings, and so on. For example, you'll use it to choose a voice assistant. The Arc doubles as a smart speaker, with your choice of Alexa or Google. This is less about controlling the TV and more about using the soundbar for music, podcasts, home automation, and other smart speaker-y things. In the not uncommon case of your TV also having Alexa built in, as mine does, it can actually slow things down to have 2 microphones listening at the same time. I would disable TV Alexa in favor of Arc Alexa, as the latter has the better mics. If you choose one of these assistants, however, you'll lose out on the Arc's own Sonos-based voice controls, which include options like enabling and disabling speech enhancement. As versatile as this soundbar is, it suffers a bit in terms of simplicity and usability. Anyone uncomfortable with app-based controls might want to consider a different setup. Thanks to onboard Dolby Atmos, the Arc can fill a room with clear sound like no other standalone soundbar. Particularly impressive is how much bass it produces without a separate subwoofer. You may not feel that thump, but you'll hear it. The simulated immersive surround sound is often very impressive as well, especially in action scenes. It's worth noting that the Arc can't serve as a traditional Bluetooth speaker the way other soundbars here can. Instead, it joins your home Wi-Fi network, which does offer some advantages, like support for multi-room speaker setups and Apple AirPlay, but may frustrate Android users. Because external audio services, Amazon Music, Spotify, etc., are controlled by the Sonos app, you may lose out on certain features of those services. The Sonos Arc is a high-end product, one that looks gorgeous and outperforms all other standalone soundbars. But, wow, it's expensive, and probably better suited to Apple/iOS users than to the Android crowd. And despite its singular streamlined design, it's just a touch more complicated to use than it should be.